TRADINGVIEW. It's TA with MK. Gents and ladies, no time to waste. Don't be afraid, it's time to trade. Let's start your brains like high-speed trains. Storm these games like hurricanes. It's time to save this herd this days. Put on your cape and learn the phrase. It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. Alright, before we dive into today's Bitcoin analysis and the 5 coins I'm watching on TA with MK, I wanted to throw a quick plug out to a paid Discord that I'm a member of. Disclaimer, I am not an admin and I don't profit in any way from the group. I just think it's an amazing group, and I know there's a lot of people looking for great, I guess, crypto communities to join and be a part of, and I just thought this would be a good one to throw a plug on, and then we'll dive in, so enjoy.
Anywhere you say, anywhere.
You want some value, you better check this. Got fundamental and tech analysis. It's know when to buy and when to sell it. If you are busy, we got alerts set. We'll help you till you're financially free with crypto courses and daily live streams. Hey, our collective, it is our mission to help you succeed. Just hope you listen. Shout out to Reddit and Athena. Those are the two founders of that group. If you feel like checking them out, there's a link in the description. And without further ado, let's jump into today's analysis. Okie dokie. Before we dive into the 5 coins, I want to quickly go over the Bitcoin daily chart and use this image over here on the top right to just kind of demonstrate the importance of higher lows and higher highs as it relates to the trend changing. So we got our paintbrush out, and you can see that last year in November we topped out at around 9,000 or whatever we were at, and we were in this giant falling wedge. And then we, back here in late January, we went as low as 33,000, just over 33,000. We put in that low. We were able to follow that by breaking out of the wedge, and this high right here was higher than this previous high inside the wedge. So then what we were looking for to confirm a trend change was a higher low. If you look over here on this little chart, that is a buy signal. Well, look what we got. Higher low. This was the Russia-Ukraine situation, but it was able to hold in this green support box and put in a higher low. So now what we're looking for over the coming days to weeks is for this high that's currently happening to push higher than this high. So we need to break basically at 46. We need to push somewhere up into 46,500-ish range. At that point, if you missed this latest buy, you would then be looking for another higher low, maybe somewhere back down here as your next buy signal. First coin I want to jump into is PCX. It's a coin I previously talked about just because it had news. Now some of this news is already passed or is about to pass, so it's not really relevant anymore. You can see there was an AMA on the 28th. That's actually today. A snapshot tomorrow. And then the one I'm focusing on is the airdrop. That's still a week away. Airdrops give investors incentive to hold the coin. Typically, you have to hold the coin in order to get the airdrop. That's how that works. And so sometimes, or often you'll see some positive price action if Bitcoin cooperates. So I just wanted to first show that. This is the bigger chart back here with more history. And I previously brought this up because I had this huge green box of support mentioning that it's got basically a triple bottom. It's bounced once, twice, 3 times from this area, and it's doing it at the top of this giant support zone. So what you'd want to do to get entry on this coin is zoom into lower time frames. So let's go over here to this chart. We will go up here and grab our paintbrush, and if you see here, we had this low here, and right now it's trying to put in a higher low. But where it still hasn't put in a higher high on lower time frames, you have 2 entry options here. You either look for it to pull back and you get one more entry down here at the major support that we indicated on the other chart at around $1.20, $1.18 to $1.20. Or what you look for or you set an alert for is if this can break this zone of resistance up here, because this is the double bottom neckline. I realize this is a higher low, but it's essentially a double bottom, right? This is the neckline for that. You'd be looking for it to break that, put in a higher high than this high, and then you could set an alert at that point to get back in on the retest and confirmation of it flipping this zone of resistance into support. And then, ride it as it pushes higher potentially. Next coin I want to go over is KLV, or Klever Finance it is. It's a finance coin. This one's a pretty simple one to watch. I've just got this falling wedge I've indicated here on the daily charts. It's a big wedge that it's been in ever since November of last year. And what we're looking for is, so we have this low, right, which is happening right at a major zone of daily support. So what you're looking for is for it to break this wedge. So you'd want to set an alert at around 22.7 cents, whatever, around this area. And then you either want it to put in a higher low at that point, somewhere down maybe around here, or you can get on a potential double bottom. Now, Bitcoin will determine, whether or not that pulls back that far again. But basically, your best entry is whenever it breaks the zone, and then you either get the higher low confirmed, so you enter here, or you come back down here into this zone and get a double bottom. So keep an eye on Klever Finance. Has a ton of upside if it gets going. Obviously, you can see that back here last year it's been a lot higher. In fact, let's look that up real quick before we move on. Price range, what kind of upside potential has this thing got if we get rolling? So this thing could go up 700%, holy moly. It is down over almost 90%, so I mean that's a pretty good discount price. Next up, we've got Glitch Protocol. This is one I've previously went over. I've been keeping a really close eye on. It just has good structure. We had this low back here. We put in this high. This was confirmed as a higher low, and it's been in this falling wedge now, for a while. But it looks like an inverse head and shoulders. And I mentioned previously that your best buy would be if it pushed back down into this aggressive entry at support. It did wick barely below that, but still, overall, I mean, that's exactly what we wanted to see. Your next best entry would probably be to wait for it to either break this wedge and then retest it. You could enter around this zone of support that I've indicated by this white line at around 47 cents. Or you get one last pullback maybe to the top of this zone at 42 cents, and you could enter there as well. And to finish off, let's just jump into a couple of larger cap coins. This is XVG, Verge. It has a block reward halving coming here in about a week, 8 days it looks like. This one's just a tip I wanted to emphasize as being almost a prototypical perfect, whatever the word is, double bottom. Now it's got this falling wedge that it was in, right here, right? This was the last low on the wedge. It broke and was basically retesting or confirming the top of that trend line at the same exact area that the previous low was. So that is a perfect double bottom. So what you're looking for now, you could actually, not financial advice, but you could enter now, would be an aggressive entry. But a safer entry would wait for it to come up here to the neckline of the double bottom, right? Break that, which finally puts in a higher high than this high that was back in February 12th. And then you'd enter on the flip of this red zone, hopefully turning to support. So you'd enter right here, stop loss just below. This would be your next safest entry. So keep an eye on XVG. And then our last coin is EGLD, or EGLD. This one I previously mentioned just had some amazing looking structure. I love to find when patterns seem to be mirroring or repeating themselves. Back here you had this giant falling wedge. So you had this low, it broke out, was able to confirm a higher low, and then went on that crazy run. Well, now it kind of looks like it's doing the same thing. We had this trend line that was down. We got ourselves this low, it broke the wedge, and looks to be confirming a higher low. I previously mentioned this was a good aggressive zone of entry, which it's now back at. This was the strongest support buy zone, and it wicked right down into that. So if you would have had a limit buy waiting there, right now you'd be in profits. But the important thing now is you could enter now, not financial advice, and I'm not saying that I have. What I'm actually looking for now is for it to break this top of my aggressive zone at around 150. I want to see EGLD break 150, and then I would look for it to flip this zone back into support, the top of it, and then then you could ride it up to this area, up to about 190 or so, and kind of just take profits on the way up. So we'll keep you posted on that. Thank you for sticking around. Those are the 5 coins I'm watching. Now keep in mind Bitcoin has pumped pretty good over the past 12 hours or so. So right now what I'm looking for is the next higher low to get some good entries on these altcoins. So I will keep you posted. Thank you for sticking around and watching TA with MK. My name is McKay. If you're liking the content, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.
It's tea.